What if I told you that you're not actually all that far away from getting your shit together, that doing the things you said you were gonna do was only one small change away? On how to fix your seemingly endless problems, revamp your entire life, and kill your current self. No, it's much simpler than that. You see, most people, when it comes to fixing their life and locking the fuck in, are often coming from a place of deep inadequacy. They hate themselves for not being better, not being disciplined, not having it all together. And they seem to think that with the incredible amount of self-hatred and frustration for not being better, that doing more healthy habits, being more strict with their routine, and doing more work is a good thing to do, when they've never been able to handle any of that beforehand. And then you end up back right where you started, at square one, hating yourself again. And if all of this sounds familiar, then you might not actually be that far away from having it all together and locking the fuck back in. In fact, to show you what I mean, let me tell you my quick story. In life, whenever I fall into a rut, I've never been one to just sit there and let it have its way with me, getting frustrated with myself after just 1 or 2 shit days. Where the world seems to be always against me, nothing ever goes well. People look at me weird, although I'm sure it's just my mood playing tricks on me, and even the smallest things can agitate me.
Why? What?
And so I end up thinking, why can't I just stick to this shit? Why do I always have to fall off and end up here? The frustration got into my head, wanting to snap myself back instantly into the perfect daily routine. Guilty of all of the time I've wasted, I'd sit down and journal what went wrong to knock me off my winning streak. And then it would appear, the source of all my pain and misery. And this was helpful, admittedly.
Okay. This is manageable.
It let me see the problems from an objective viewpoint, separate from my emotions, almost as if I was helping someone else. But then, I decided to obsess over it, planning my new hardcore lifestyle to build a me 2.0 and reinvent myself overnight into the world's most disciplined man, with a variety of new and productive habits to unfuck everything I've ever done wrong, out of the fear that I would waste time and do heinous things again. Until one day, after years and years of doing this over and over again,
Any ideas? No? Okay.
it clicked. Somewhere, somehow, I realized what was wrong with me, why I couldn't stay locked in, why I'd always end up back at square one. Firstly, I realized that the plan was simply a way to hug myself in a false sense of security, to make sure that it would never go wrong again, and sure, maybe it'd go well for a couple of days, but then inescapably, the pieces on the board would change, an unexpected circumstance that my plan didn't consider, rendering the rest of my plan utterly useless, having to make a new plan again and again. Unexpected circumstances, like how I'd stick to the plan when exhausted, or after the frustration of wanting to be better ran out. Or maybe it was me overestimating myself, that going at the gym hard, bulking, and locking in on work at the same time was simply too much. One had to be the priority. Yeah. To put this simply, each time I made a new plan or routine that was supposed to be perfect, most of the time it was just masturbation, mental masturbation. Something to feed my ego and just how optimal it would be if I actually did it. And chances are I wasn't gonna do it. Not for long anyways. Yeah. Second thing I realized was that the long list of problems that made it seem like the world was ending was often only caused by one problem. And that if I solved that one problem, all the others would solve themselves. Problem being, finding that problem. In my case though, it was how me snoozing and sleeping in created a loss in my mind before I even started the day.
You're already behind the power curve. So what happens when you hit the snooze button? You may not make your bed. You may not do your hair the way you want.
Starting the day with negative momentum instead of at baseline, coupled with a scientific sleepiness after you snooze.
So when your alarm goes off and you get up 15 minutes later, you're now in major trouble. And the reason why you're in trouble is because your brain is still locked into a sleep cycle. And this is where sleep inertia comes in.
Then the plan I made for the day goes to shit. Hours in the morning that was supposed to be for work is gone. I essentially tell myself, throw the day away. And finally, this would delay the time I sleep at night, making getting up early the next day even harder. I also used to eat a whole banquet meant for 3 people at lunch, which obviously causes another huge cascade of problems, from a food coma to not wanting to move. And shit happens when you don't want to move, but you want to pass time, to rest and digest. And so after 4 hours, your body has finally cleared it all. Great, now it's time for dinner, and you've missed the gym and all the things you planned in the afternoon. And then comes hatred. Self-hatred. And so, I think my question to you is, what is your one problem? The one problem that causes 10 other problems. That is what you need to find. Journal it. Think. Sit in silence. It's important that you find this problem. And so let's say that after applying all of this in your life, you find the one problem in your life that causes 10 others, and you do anything to stop that from happening now. and things start to go well again. You start to work more, you smash out hours of work, and momentum builds onto momentum. And let's say you leave your workspace and you go about your day with a winning streak, high off of it, doing the things you said you were gonna do. And soon enough, the world feels manageable, conquerable. Maybe you start planning and fantasizing how your future will be if you kept this level of work ethic up. If you kept this level of work ethic up. Because this pride and newly found confidence in yourself, because you're working so hard now, can actually lead to the next big problem that I myself had to deal with. That's so much harder than the problems we've talked about in this video, and that is overworking. What the fuck? Overworking? What? Bro, I'm Elon Musk. Who is overworking? Enough of this bullshit. Time for another coffee. As I was saying, but with overworking, you won't have the problem of falling off your winning streak and getting back on track, knowing that you've fallen off in the first place. But instead, you have the problem of running on an empty fuel tank, and you won't see it. Because your self-worth now, after being so damn productive, it's all based on how hard you can work, how long you can sit in your chair, how disciplined you are. That you'll debate with yourself on whether to stop and refuel or not. Of which, there are many things stopping you. Almost too much. This is the root cause of your inconsistency. Hey, wake up. You got a bunch of shit to do.
Yeah,
You have a bunch of things to fix. You have a bunch of problems to solve. Shit tomorrow. Wake the fuck up. While you have bad habits and vices. Next video, I'll show you how to work less and be okay with it, so that in the long run, you work more overall. How to know if you're just being lazy, or if you actually seriously need rest. How to rest properly so that you can handle the extremely productive lifestyle you want to have. In other words, the discipline to be undisciplined.